Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast, where we break down everything short-term rentals, entrepreneurship, and building a profitable hospitality business. Whether you're a host, investor, or property manager, we share real strategies, real insights, and real experiences to help you scale smarter and grow faster. Let's dive in.
What up, everybody? Welcome to episode 96 of the best podcast that shoots it from the hip. My name is Matt Codd, and I'm here with Austin Spitzenberger, and this is the Co-Host Bros Podcast, and that intro was stellar. Today, we have Kate and Phillip Munoz in the house. So what's going on, everybody?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, super excited.
What we're getting into.
Yeah, super excited to have you all there, Matt. That intro was like one of your better ones. I feel like you didn't botch the names. Like I almost feel like you've been day drinking or something because you said you were working at your beach house. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe you've had a few or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe I smoked a joint on the way here. I don't know. You never know what could happen. I mean,
hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what's his name? And like Ricky Bobby, and he's like, why you want TV and the radio on at the same time? I'm like, because I like to party. You know, this is what it is. You know, what can you do?
Awesome, I love it. Well, I said we just jump straight into it. Kate and Phillip, if you guys want to just give a quick background on kind of how you guys got into the space and what it is you guys kind of do today.
Go for it.
I'm not really sure what it is we do today, to be honest with you, Austin. So I'm going to shoot this from the hip. We're married. We're high school sweethearts. Let me take you back and we'll take you forward. We've been together a very long time, over half of our lives at this point. We're very young. But in 2020, when I was very pregnant with our first child, just so you know, very pregnant, emphasis on that, Phillip decided to start listening to some podcasts and was already into real estate, had some long-term rentals, and thought it would be the best idea ever to start short-term rentals, to be vacation rental owners and managers, because he was convinced, yes, we could do it ourselves. But as he will tell it, he needed me to be along with it. So he bribed me with a beach house, to which he got an immediate I'm in. So that's how we started. And we have essentially since then grown, right? We own 6 personal properties across the beaches and the mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains. Why we're in the mountains, I don't know. We don't love the mountains personally, but to each their own. And we now co-host over 14 properties. So we have 20 properties. 20? My math is off.
Something like that.
Around that.
Between what we own personally and what we co-host.
Yeah, so you've lost count. So that's a good problem to have, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we just manage the insanity and the chaos, and we love every second of it.
And then that, ultimately brought us into the real estate sales game as well, because, as we were going through the process of buying our 6 personal properties, we had a lot of cases where, the real estate agent just wasn't that great in terms of knowing vacation rentals. So, as we got deeper and deeper into the space and we started making connections with other people like, Joe Roney, he was able to kind of pull us into the Savvy team. And so we got our real estate license and we, worked with other investors and helped them try to find, great vacation rentals in the Forgotten Coast and the Destin Miramar Beach area. And so we've kind of gone full circle in terms of, just initially getting into the vacation rental space to buying our own, to managing for other people. And now we're helping investors buy and sell as well.
But what really lights our fire is a number of things, but also just seeing how much money people are not making and how much money they should be making. So that really kind of gets us going and gets just us all fired up and results in endless hours of work with no sleep. And now we're translating that over to investors like ourselves that maybe didn't have the best guidance, maybe made a couple mistakes along the way, but we're here to kind of help them course correct and also give them the preview into the really fun world that this is.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I want to get into, before you guys got into the short-term rental space, you guys had, so you went from, you have 6 short-term rentals, but you had investment properties before that. Like, did you buy long-term rentals, or what did that look like to where you were able to maybe leverage your previous portfolio to get into short-term rentals. Just talk a little bit more about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so funny story. In 2011 is when I bought my first long-term rental, and it was funny because Kate and I were obviously together at that point, not married yet, but together. And I went and looked at this property, and I put in an offer, and I didn't tell her till later that night that I was under contract to buy my first investment property. And she was beside herself, like, you didn't talk to me about this. I didn't see the property. I didn't, have any say in this. Like, what are you thinking? And I was like,
hell yeah,
let's calm down. Like, it's going to be a great investment. We're going to do well, and it's going to be awesome. Right. So bought that one in 2011. So that was the first long-term rental. And we since then had bought 4 other long-term rentals. So we have a total of 5 long-term rentals all around the Atlanta area that we own. All before the short-term.
Did she ever apologize to you?
No.
I have to know because on here she puts her name first. So, and then we were discussing disputes later. So I think it's even more funny that you listen to Austin's advice, and we'll go into his poor advice because you said you've been married for a long time, so you should fucking know better, dude. You should know better.
Zero remorse from this one, 0. And then he went on to buy a few more, and he kind of sort of told me about those before he got to the closing table.
He does it like me. I bet you. You like a little hint, Tom. You're like, hey, babe, you like land? And she's like, yeah. And you're like, you like land and like by dirt roads? Like, I don't mind dirt roads. And you're in your head, you're like, perfect, buying it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the approval I was looking for. Perfect. I'm buying it.
Yeah. You just said yes. Like, as soon as you say yes, nope, you said yes already.
Yep. So, by the way, we're under contract on this property, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Love that. He's just gonna send it anyways, right?
That's it. That's right. It. When you come across a good one, you got to jump on it, right?
Yeah. So, so let's get into like what markets are you guys in? So if you guys host and you own your investors and you help people buy or sell homes, you've got to be kind of like specialist in a couple markets. Whereabouts do you guys operate?
So going back to that, how he got me in this game in the first place was I'll buy you a beach house, but we had to be able to afford said beach house. And this was early 2021 when we started looking. And at that time, he'd been listening to some podcasts. Anyways, we found ourselves on the Forgotten Coast, which is Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe, I think like 30 minutes east of Panama City. Made famous in 2018 by Hurricane Michael, which was a Category 5 that came on shore there and completely like flattens the area. So they were very much in a rebuild, still are rebuilding a lot phase at that point. We could afford there. So we went down there. I'll never forget it. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend. We went down there to check out the area, and we just fell head over heels in love with it. The fact that it wasn't commercialized, that there's not tons of condo buildings. There are not any condo buildings. I think the tallest building there is like 4 stories high. And you could take your dogs. The town was dog friendly. And despite the business that we're in, we don't love being around a lot of people. So that was also a home run for us. There weren't a lot of people, and there still aren't a lot of people. So that is the beach market that we're in. That is our place that we prefer to be in the Forgotten Coast. And that's actually the area that we specialize in from a real estate perspective. We have branched out. We also own in Destin. We do enjoy Destin. It's a different kind of enjoyment though. When we want, restaurants and a lot of things to go and do, Destin's where we'll find ourselves over. And also there's different investors, right? So we're able to pivot over to Destin as being owner operators there, but also real estate agents in that market to help match there. Then my husband, the dreamer that he is,
the visionary,
said that there was gold in the Smoky Mountains. So we went to Smoky Mountains to find said gold. I think we're still digging at this point, but we own a great little cabin there, and it's actually going to be for sale.
We are probably going to be selling that property soon just because we are tired of the mountains. We're not mountain people. And I got caught up in the hype of the Smokies. It was, again, where you go and strike gold, right? So got caught up in it and, bought a property that probably wasn't the best investment. It kind of goes back to, having a good real estate agent that you can rely on for advice and answering questions, things of that nature. But to make a long story short, we're just not in love with the mountains, and we are all in on Florida. We also co-host in Panama City Beach as well. So, we've got extensive knowledge in several different markets, but really focus on the Florida Panhandle and can, share our perspective and our experience across multiple markets.
Because we did strike gold in Port St. Joe. And we believe, based on data that we're able to pull and analyze, that we have the highest performing 3-bedroom that's not beachfront.
Okay, nice. So are you guys doing this full time now, or do you guys still have W-2 jobs? What does that look like? And does it look like, if you're going to keep growing your management portfolio, any thoughts on maybe moving to your market? What's that look like?
Do you want to start with that, or you want me to start?
Go ahead, you can start.
So I actually just recently retired from my W-2 a couple months ago. A little bit of a forced retirement, but it's all good. It was one of those things that it was going to happen, at some point. And so it kind of happened slightly faster than I wanted it to, but it's all good. It was going to happen, like I said. So wrapped up with the W-2 in November, went all in on real estate, got linked up with Savvy and started doing the real estate sales and our co-host business, and then manage our own property. So I am full-time in the real estate space right now.
For me, it's my part-time, full-time job. I am still working full-time in corporate human resources for a very large retailer, and enjoy that side of things a lot. It's been great for navigating guest issues because I spend all day doing associate issues, if you will. But looking to hopefully, at some point transition full-time into the real estate and property. I keep telling Phillip, we love the co-host model, but we could crush it as a property manager, a legitimate property manager. So there's something we're starting to kind of talk about long-term. And he owes me a true second home, Austin, to your question. And Matt, just so you know, this man owes me a true second home at the beach. One that I don't have to just ask if it's rented or not that weekend, but one we can just go to. So.
And we will get to that point at some point. But right now we've got to make investments that make money and obviously take advantage of the tax benefits that come with it, right? So.
Well, you should have been nicer at your job. Right? I mean, you got that bug and you're like, oh, I'm gonna be out of here anyway, and then you're just like, fuck you, Clarence. But no, I love it. It's funny because you were like, oh yeah, I deal with associates. No, you deal with stupid people on both ends. Either way, yeah, it's at work and when you deal with the guests that don't really know what's going on. I agree that you can make more money doing property management, upsells, things like that. I actually ended up buying my beach house like the same way, dude. Like, honestly, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy a beach house. And I'm like, oh yeah, how am I going to pay for it? And I went to a real like market that was like yours, like real quiet, real chill. Like, you go to the beach on 4th of July, like it's, it's not packed. Like it's just relaxing. So it's like, it's funny because we started in similar ways. And I love that. And my wife was just like, what? And then it's like, how sometimes when you convince your wife and she doesn't think about like how it's going to get paid for, she's like, oh yeah, we're going to get the beach house. I'm like, right. Now we got to figure it out. Like, it's kind of like the crackhead doesn't ask where you get the crack. You're like, just got it from a guy I know. So what's your like your ultimate goal? Like do you want to quit your job and work in real estate full time, or are you just hustling to get that true second home that you can go to whenever you want, even on a Thursday? It's cool, like whatever.
Or a Saturday would be great. I want it all, just so you know, as every woman does, right?
I like it.
But what I want the most is to be able to control my time and not have to answer to somebody else, as far as, in the corporate world, right? Like I answer to somebody else. I'm somewhat on their time. I'm on their payroll. So I want to be able to take back control of my time and just have a different kind of stress, if you will. I don't mind the guest stress, but when I'm dealing with a bunch of shit at work, and then I'm dealing with a bunch of shit at my other work, and then I have 2 kids, a husband, and 3 dogs, somebody's going to be a little off the chart sometimes, and that somebody is me. So I'd like to be able to calm that. And that's just got to be at some point. It's okay. You can say it.
Which is why it's
I'm sorry.
I'm batshit crazy at times. And sometimes
I'm sorry, Phillip.
Let me melt.
No.
When you're finished, I'll come back later.
Yeah. That's a good segue. Let's talk about Austin's advice, since he gave you marital advice recently. He didn't know.
He did. He didn't even know it was marital advice.
I did not give them marital advice.
Austin is giving marital advice, everybody.
It was bad marital advice, Austin. I'm really sorry. So go ahead. Who wants to tell him what you want me to tell him what you did?
Yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah, because women tell better stories anyway.
Okay. So as you know, Phillip is an up and comer on the social media scene and just go back to like, I am a retired fitness professional. So let me just set the stage here. So from like 2015 to 2020, when I got pregnant, I was like social media fitness coach, like posting all the time. Just take a fitness coach and imagine what I was posting, right? So husband over here hated social media, could not understand why I was always on it and posting it. Why did I need to post him or what we're doing or what I'm doing? Fast forward to today, where I'm social media manager of this face right here because he's going viral and all kinds of things. So I think over the weekend, his post wasn't getting traction, wasn't getting steam, and it really irked him. So I think he got some advice from you, Austin. I'm not sure if he solicited it or if you volunteered it or what happened, but you told him that he should not tag me in this post because my profile is private and it was limiting his reach. So we have a new property that we are the agents on that he posted about, that he thought it would be a good idea not to tag me in. Even though my face is on the picture, he didn't tag me in it because he told me that's the advice he got from you, Austin.
I told her I couldn't have her hold me back on the post, so I had to post it without her, and I told her that she was welcome to post it separately herself if she wanted to.
You're the worst.
But from when I talked to Austin, it was the algorithms and how things work and everything. It would be better if I just posted it myself and did not tag her. So I was trying that out.
Like in life, right? Your wife drags you down, so you just don't include her.
So hold on, Paul. Let's go back for a second. And in my defense, I think I said if her profile was on private because I don't really know if your profile is on private or not, nor did I look at it. But the first question we have to address, the first thing we have to address here is your profile on private?
Indeed it is.
Okay, so that would hurt your visibility because if somebody else's profile is on private, only their viewers can see it, and then it'll kind of get squandered along the way. But maybe I won't give advice because then if Phillip has to sleep on the couch, then it's my ass.
No, so because I did know that her profile was private, so I obviously intentionally did not tag her on this post because I wanted to see how it went, right? So
how did it go?
It went a little bit better. Like I said, I need to get more consistent, with posting in general. So it's a work in progress, but I guess on your front, it probably didn't go as smooth as I would like it to, but it's all good. We will overcome this like we've overcome lots of different things, and we will move forward on to the next thing.
So on that note, though, so she mentioned that some of your posts have gone viral. I think that it's awesome seeing you guys being more on social media, and you really have to do that in this day and age. But like, what are you seeing from your posts? Like, which ones went viral? What was the reason behind it? Was it like
not one that I'm involved in?
No? Oh, okay. So just to start the show.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
That just goes back to the advice that you gave, Austin, is, I didn't tag her in that post and it did really well, right? No, so a little bit of the backstory
I can do it without you.
Like he said,
until he's hungry, and then what happens?
French fries.
Yeah. So a little bit of the backstory. Like I said, before real estate, I was never really big on social media. I wasn't, one of these people that wanted to share everything that I was doing. I was very private. So I kept everything to myself. I very rarely post on social media, and that was me. But like you mentioned, Austin, is, in today's times, social media is huge, and building a brand is huge. And you have to do that nowadays if you want to be successful. So I have been steadily working to get out of my comfort zone and to push myself to do things that I normally wouldn't do, like posting a lot more, doing videos, doing the selfie videos, all those types of things. So I started my Instagram, I guess maybe, 6 months to a year ago, maybe. And I've been trying different things, like I said, trying to get more consistent, but I did have one post about a month or a month and a half ago that, it went viral to me, I guess. It got like over 20,000 views, maybe 30,000 views. Like a ton of different, I'd say like over, like 150 likes, I guess, a couple comments and stuff, which was huge for me. So, when Kate had always been the social media person and I'm just trying to learn and stuff, like I would intentionally kind of rub it in her face. And so I'd pull up the stats and I'd be like, look, Kate, like my post has it has over 3,000 views already. Like, it's got all these likes. Like, I'm going viral right now. Like, you just need to watch out, stay out of my way. Like, I'm going viral. I'm going to be a social media influencer, and the rest is going to be history. So I think she kind of, her being the social media person and me kind of getting into it, I think she's a little bit jealous, if I'm being honest. But there's things that she can learn, and we're working on that.
He's also a paid influencer. I was never paid.
I am about that as well. So I use Baselane as my real estate banking platform and bookkeeping platform. So I am what they call a Baselane ambassador. So I, am active on social media, kind of promoting Baselane where it makes sense and where it's possible based on my experience. And, I get paid for that each month. And so that's another thing that I like to rub in Kate's face is, out of all the social media that you've been doing over the last however many years and me being newer, getting into it, well, I'm the one that's getting paid for it right now. So, I think you need to step up your game a little bit there, honey.
Marriage is going well for us.
So we are not paid influencers, so I guess we also suck. But if you guys want to sponsor the show, feel free. But I do want to say, like, the banter like this is what makes this the #1 podcast in the world. Just saying. So you guys need to review it and share it with your friends. So when you went viral, did you come home with like 3 more iPhones and like some new stands and stuff and like some mics that you clipped to your t-shirt? Like all of a sudden, I went viral. Look, babe, I put all this stuff. Like, did you do that?
Well, the funny thing is, I already had 2 phones from my old W-2. I just kept my other phone, so I still have my 2 phones. But then it became all right, Kate, like my followers need me right now. Like, I need you to give me like 30 minutes to focus on my post right here. They're waiting for me to post. So step back, give me a little bit of time. You take care of the kids right now because I've got to get this post out. My followers need it and want it right now.
He really took it to his head, huh?
He really did. But guess who was responsible for writing 98% of his posts or giving him the music to catch the eye and the ear?
She is great with coming up with music and coming up with the right words. But in my defense, this post that went, quote unquote, viral for myself, Kate had no input on it. It was all me.
It also had nothing to do with him. It was a shark, literally a shark.
Telling you to be a badass.
Well, I mean, ChatGPT doesn't ask for credit, okay? So, I mean, you need to be more like ChatGPT, and that's my marital advice. No, I'm just kidding. So I want to actually, this is so much fun, but I want to circle back. I want to go back to what actually got you guys into like co-hosting, and like, what did you do? Because I want to help the people that like you're trying, right? So it's like, what did you do to get like your first client? Like, how did you do that? How did you propel from there? How did you end up with, you can't even count them on your fingers and toes anymore? Like, give us some more in-depth detail.
This is going to sound terrible, but I'm still not 100% sure how we got our first co-host client. And here's the reason why.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah. Our first co-host client actually was somebody who randomly reached out to me on Facebook and in the Smokies for her chalet in the Smokies, which we co-host on currently. I'm still not 100% sure how she found us because, again, we're heavily involved in the beach market. So I'm assuming I'm in a couple of different like female focused investor groups on Facebook, which I highly recommend. Like, join all the groups, learn all the things. No, there's going to be a lot of stuff that just irritates the shit out of you, but ignore that and take the nuggets out of it. I think she found me in there and she reached out and I went up and I met with her. And at this time we were, I think Austin, he had hooked up with you and with Joe Money, and like co-hosting was kind of the vibe at the time. It's still the vibe, but it was more of the circle we were coming into around that time. Is that pretty fair to say? Yeah,
and that's when Joe started his mastermind. And so we all kind of formed our own mastermind and got, a group of like-minded people that wanted the same goals and had the same vision. And so we kind of worked together towards building those goals, and then I'll let you pick it back up from there.
Yeah, so we signed up, we took over her chalet. She had a property manager, and so fun fact, her property manager, she could not access her house at any time without going through him to get a code. She did not even have a key to her own house, you guys. There are better ways out there if you're listening to this and you have a property manager right now or considering a property manager versus co-host. So we took on her Gatlinburg chalet. She immediately gave us her Panama City Beach townhouse, which we still have. We took her chalet from doing like 60 to like 85K. And then we took her Panama City place that she did like 25,000 on it in her first year. I think in its first year with us, it did close to 60. So we were able to kind of grow. She actually referred us to somebody else in the Smoky Mountains that she knew, and that's how we got those. But then for the mountain, I'm sorry, over to the beach, Dee Dee was our first.
Yep.
So we co-host on a house named Sandfleet, and it's actually right across the street from our Saltaire, which is the highest performing 3-bedroom that's not beachfront. We had just had a pool put in. So we called her. We knew she had Vacasa, but we also knew I'm a warm person. Like, do not cold call me. I will hang up on you. But if you can find something in common with me, you'll likely get me to stay on the phone and engage. So that was the commonality we had. We just had a pool put in. We needed a pool service. So we found her information. You found it.
I found her information because she had a pool as well. So the neighbors that we were in contact with helped us get her information. And so Kate had reached out to her.
Yep. I called her and I left her a message. She didn't pick up. And I was just, hey, we're across the street. We just had a pool put in. That prompted her. She called me back. Thank God she called me back, gave me her pool people. And while she had me on the phone, she's like, what are you guys doing over there that keeps you guys booked? Like, every time I come down, I see cars. Like, what's going on? And that was kind of our entry point into building the relationship and just telling her some of the things we'd been doing. And she ditched Vacasa, and within like a month, we were co-hosting on her house. So that's really how we grew that. And then the others have been referrals. It's really been organic from us, guys. We haven't done really any cold calling.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much been organic. We did have our beachfront place came as a result of Facebook, right? One of the Facebook groups. So anytime that you can add as much value as you can, and Kate is very active in these groups and provides a ton of value in there. I try to be as active as I can, but me being a new social media person, I can only have so much time with all my followers trying to hit me up for a post. So
absolutely.
But no, I mean, being active in those social media groups, providing value, that is how we were able to kind of link up with that one. In addition to, having your network of people that you are working with and familiar with, they were able to tag us and say, hey, for the Port St. Joe market, go to Phillip and Kate. Like they know that area, they're rock stars in that area. And so I think having that network of people that you are tight with, I guess, for lack of better words, helps to kind of promote you in some of these Facebook groups. And I think that's all it takes sometimes, is having a little bit of help from other people around you and a little bit of guidance, I guess. And I think through those types of things, it helps you get the call, right? And then once you have the call, then you can talk about all the great things that you do, all the great experience that you can have, and you can really sell yourself from there. But I think the hardest part for most people is probably getting that initial call. And so I think that's a little bit of a nugget to try to.
And fun fact, there's a house that we're actually getting ready to take over from a property manager at the beach. I saw her house and I saw who she was with, and I just DM'd her, and she never responded. This was like 2 years ago, but full circle, somehow or another, she found his number, picked up the phone and called him, and like the rest is history. We're getting set to kind of take it over and do all of that. But for me, it's finding a commonality. Even if you make up a commonality, oh, I'm getting a pool, or oh, I have this coming, or oh, I see you have that. Like, find a commonality and then build that warm instead of the cold. I hate sales calls. Do not cold call me. Anybody out there, if you get my number, do not cold call me. But if you can find something that makes me want to talk to you, or I feel like, hey, I can help. I want to help. This period, I want to help. So if you can get me on the phone and ask for my help for something, you're going to get me talking. So that would be my biggest feedback to anybody trying to get into the co-host space. Mailers, maybe sliding in their DMs. It took 2 years. But again, kind of that warm thing, I think it goes a long way, and it gives you a case to be authentic. I think that's the other piece too, is finding the authentic connection and letting that grow. You may have to water it a little or a lot, but that's going to pay off 10 times more.
Yeah, that's solid. That's way better than just calling somebody, right? Just saying, hey, blah, 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 Yeah. Call them and say, hey, I got a house down the street. What pest control do you use or whatnot? And then, if you need anything, just let me know. You need any kind of help or something, you have a problem, whatever. And then you build a relationship. So I like that. And I hate when people cold call me too. And like I told you, I was going before the show that I was looking at couches for like the last week. And I've gone into every furniture store. And every time I walk in and lock eyes with the salesman, I'm like, please don't approach me. Please don't approach me. Please don't approach me. Because like I get almost offended. Like, I don't want you to fucking talk to me. I'm here. I'm walking around with a measuring tape. When I need you, I will come find you. Like, the same thing like with the car dealerships, right? So it's like, it's funny. Like if we go buy a car, like she'll be like, you didn't even want to talk to the salesman, but now you're talking to him forever. I said, yeah, now I'm getting the price down. Like I'm not sitting here like don't come over to me. Oh, you need any help? No, I don't. I don't need any help. I know exactly what I'm here for. I don't need your help. I'm good. Like it's just how I am too. Like I just hate, or like when people come to my door and they're like, I open the door. The first thing I say is like, "You selling some?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, well, no." I'm like, "Yeah, no, thanks. Like I'm good. Like if I wanted to buy it, I'll call you." Like I'm just not like that either. And unfortunately, I'm like that as well. And it might be to my detriment. I don't know, but yeah, solid advice. I mean, it's really hard to be a successful real estate entrepreneur when your husband's like a social media superstar. So,
it's exhausting every day, Matt. I struggle. But if I can also just offer a piece of advice, that would be anybody looking to get in the co-host space. I know, right? People will tell you like, oh, message people on Airbnb or, slide into their message on Airbnb. For the love of God, do not do that. And I just want to kind of reference, we went live, brand new house. We bought it in October, went live in early November, 0 bookings at the beach market. All right, fine. I had one. Calendar wide open, place is pristine, pictures are on point, and a co-host slid into my DMs trying to sell herself as a co-host. She did not even take the time to look at my profile with 500 freaking reviews. But she was asking me if I wanted help. I mean, maybe that's some balls, but I was like, I literally told her, I don't know whether to be offended or what to think because you didn't even do your research. So maybe if you're going to slide into people on Airbnb, maybe that's a tactic, but do your research. You probably don't want to like cold DM somebody that's got 500 5-star reviews. I don't know.
Yeah.
So are y'all a part of the co-hosting program or whatever they offer? Are you listed on there, Kate, like for your profile? Have y'all tried to do that or?
No, I fight too often with Airbnb. I think for them to allow me into the program.
You're flagged.
Yeah, probably.
You're flagged in this.
I'm not a golden retriever when it comes to Airbnb or Facebook groups. So
you're on a list. You're on their list.
That's it.
100%. Airbnb does not like to see my number show up.
Yeah, I met somebody in the San Antonio market, and I went and had lunch with them. They had like 40 properties, and they were showing me their DMs, and from them being on the co-host network, they get so many inquiries doing it that way. And I have my personal profile on there, but it's only just the one house I own. But I get people inquire about it every now and then I try to push them over to just signing a full service management contract. But these people in San Antonio that I met with, they had like 45 listings co-hosting. They did really good job. They had really good photos. They did revenue management. They did it the right way, but they were doing co-hosting, but they were getting all of their leads straight from Airbnb, and they were just a really good platform on there. So the people that were going to list their house or whatever, they were looking at the co-host profile and they're like, oh, these people are really good. So they're getting a lot of leads from there. So I was just curious if y'all went that route because you're also doing kind of like the co-hosting method.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should look into it, quite honestly. And I'm not as terrible as I try to make myself sound on Airbnb, but I don't like restrictions or like to feel like I have to function within like a certain, sometimes I need to be expressive, if you will. And that's not always the space to be overly expressive. But I probably should look into it. I just feel like we're in so many Facebook groups and well known maybe for good and bad reasons in our market.
No, I mean, I think it might be something to try as you're getting started, especially if you have 1 or 2 properties and you've kind of built up some reviews. But I think at the point that we're at now, like we've got, so many properties now and have been able to grow organically.
That sounded really like
referrals.
Big ego there. So many.
Not very humble there, sir.
Not at all. Hire us.
It's all those followers he's getting and all those inquiries.
It's going
Dude, I feel like his head's about to pop in that fan. It's like a balloon. It's like
I should live with him.
Yeah.
We have to remember though, guys, that it all came from my consulting services. That is why Phillip is who he is today. Please remember that.
Absolutely.
$29.95. I'm actually part of that experience. It's called Experience Co-host, and if you were to do it, you'd be put on a wait list. I get a lot of leads from it too, but 97% of them are just junk leads. Yeah, it's a lot of junk leads, and then I'm constantly fighting with Airbnb because they're like, oh well, we're suspending you for 90 days because your response rate, and I'm like, how do you want me to respond to this that doesn't require a response? Like, what do you, I don't understand. Like, and I'm like, but look, I said like recently I got suspended and I was talking to Airbnb guy because my response rate was 75%. I had one message that somebody had sent to me and that required no response, and some other message someone sent to me and then deleted the fucking message before I could even read it. So I don't even know what it said. I'm going to say thank you for deleting the message. So I was at an Airbnb event recently, and I was telling the growth coordinator, I said, dude, Christian, you better go look at my profile and fix that shit. And he's like, I'm on it. I said, all right. But yeah, it's weird because like they ding you more with like responding to people than they would on your normal profile, because it's like they want a response for like everything, even when it's like someone's like, oh yeah, you're welcome. They say you're welcome, and you're like, okay, now what do I say? Oh, you're welcome again. And then they're gonna say you're welcome, and then what are we gonna go back and forth? Yeah, like it's not gonna stop. So if you get on it, it's gonna put you on a wait list, and the only way to actually find it is you have to actually Google Experience Co-host Airbnb. You can't do it through the app, and then it will take you to like a dashboard to sign up. But
don't you have to live in the area too, Matt? Keep me honest.
No, just put wherever you co-host at, and it'll give you a 60-mile radius. You can change it.
Okay.
And then maybe I can get some advice from you, Phillip, you know, with your social media guru. My account is currently restricted because I made a comment on a post that I thought was funny. I said I like cocaine, and it was just a joke, and Airbnb suspended me. So I'm not Airbnb, I'm sorry, Facebook suspended me. So my profile is at risk of being suspended, and I no longer get the views you get, and it's depressing, and I'm sad, and I'm losing followers, and I need your help. So maybe you can help me after this.
He doesn't even know where to go to help you, Matt. So
you didn't even. Oh, well, Kate, you know how to operate the professional dashboard. You let me know.
He doesn't even know where to go, so that might be a long journey for you, my friend.
But we will get there. That's the point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see it. If you have to go to the gas station 3 times, but you only need to go once normally, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. You stop for snacks more. Yeah,
that's right.
That's awesome. So, at what point in your guys' business, like, did you go like, you know what, maybe we should talk about switching over like a management model and not co-hosting? Like, at what point did you like come to the epiphany? And it can't be like the things that we've said. I mean, yeah, flattering, we'll take it. But I mean, at some point where you're like, you know what, it just makes more sense for us not to have, you know, people on the messaging and all these extra things. So what point did you guys come across that point?
It's really only been in the last couple of months, and I think I'm the one that actually brought it up, but there is just there are so many opportunities in our market, from, you know, a property manager perspective to just cleaning, like you name it, there is endless opportunity to capitalize on our market. And just, you know, as now we're licensed real estate agents, right, that also kind of gives us a little more wind in our sails to kind of move in that direction. But also, can I say we have access? Yeah. We can see things we couldn't see previously, right? In listings, we can see how much properties that are for sale actually have done, and can see the property managers are using. And I mean, we already knew that they sucked, for lack of better words, but this is just validating it with numbers. And I mean, these are $2 and $3 million beachfront homes that are doing less than 6 figures. That is insanity. And you read the reviews, and the reviews are like, oh, well, they want to charge you for beach towels, and they want to charge you, you know, $250 if you don't take the trash out, or if you don't put the game pieces back. Like, what kind of alternative world are we living in? That is stupidity at its finest. So just being able to put everything, I think, in-house. We've also established the best team of people that, you know, embrace. I'm chaos. I am chaos in a tornado form that some days is put together like today, and other days it just, you look at me and go, you own what? You do what? Like, how is that possible? But we have our shit together, and we have what you need to be successful there, and to show people that there is another side, there is a different way to do it. And while, yes, it would be a traditional property manager, I guess, from the stance of we would collect all the monies versus it would go to them and we get a pay, you know, we invoice and all of that, we would still bring a level of transparency and just care and just an eye for things that people don't have. I mean, property managers show up to homes and go, oh yeah, this is nice. It's better than 50% of the shit on the market. Like, we'll take it. No, like, how is somebody going to come in and tell you, what things are going really well, but what you can do to really increase your revenue. And it's going to be out there fighting for you, not just saying, oh yeah, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool, you should do about 50K. So you're going to manage it to that 50K. They're not going to go in and say, holy shit, this should be doing over 100K, and let's see how far we can push it. They're going to manage it to the bucket they put it in. And I think us as co-host and or if we transition to property managers, it's not going to be putting a house in a bucket. It's going to be continuing to drive the shit out of that revenue and take care of that house for that owner.
But I think the other thing too is that, it just seems to get more complicated, I guess, in the co-host model in terms of you've got to have a Google Voice number to try to get it set, get them an Airbnb profile set up. So there's a lot more work and a lot more of a headache, I guess, especially on the front end of trying to get them set up. Like we don't have an issue with the owner seeing the messages and stuff like that because Kate crushes the guest communication. So like, we have a lot of owners that read the stuff, but we don't ever get like, hey, why'd you say this? Or, hey, why'd you handle it this way? Or anything like that. So there's nothing like that bothers us. We love the transparency aspect of the co-host model, but I think it's just, it begins to, I don't know, it just turns into a headache, I guess, on the front end of trying to get owners set up with new Airbnb profiles and using a phone number and getting access to their account and things of that nature. And so I think it just kind of makes sense, I think, to transition into that property management model so you can kind of alleviate all those headaches, and especially trying to get them to sign up for a credit card processor and just all the different things, right? And I know you guys know all about this stuff, but I mean, it just is, initially it's great getting started. But I think as you grow and scale, I think moving to that property management model just makes more sense.
And we like it.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying we like it and we enjoy it. I mean, I think it just makes sense for us. This isn't something that's just kind of passive, if you can call any of this passive, or really just a part-time gig. Like we have a passion for it. So I think being able to take that passion and make it a little more formal and into an actual business that, right, we could sell down the road would make sense.
Yeah, I think co-hosting is kind of like something that's maybe going to go away. Plus, like when you're co-hosting, you can't really do that on Verbo, and you can't really. It's harder to integrate with all these other online travel agencies. So, like, I definitely started my business that way. And if I could go, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about the past, but if I could recommend anyone else, as long as it's legal in your market, right? Because where you're at, you guys need some kind of accreditation, right? Because you said you're realtors now. So in your market, do you need to be a realtor or broker to be a full service property manager and like collect funds and owns the listings and stuff like that? Or what does that look like for you? Because that's another thing people have to consider. Some markets, like your only option is to co-host if you don't have the credentials. Right. But if not, I'm in agreement with you guys. You might as well build a business with an end goal in mind that you can actually sell versus having basically almost just a job, because it's not maybe worth anything. It's worth very little at the end of everything. But yeah, for y'all's market, what does that look like?
Yeah, no, it's not a requirement to be an agent or be under a broker or anything like that. But I think the way that we were kind of seeing it was at some point, these big property managers are going to lobby and they're going to try to fight to push co-hosting out or that co-host model out, I think. So just trying to be proactive, I guess, and seeing that is a possibility that could happen anywhere, right? Or in any state. I think it'd be proactive of us to, or better of us to be proactive and try to transition over to that full property management model. So that way that's something that we don't have to worry about in the event that happens in our state.
Yeah. And the main difference is like, really, you're just owning the listings and owning the bank accounts. It doesn't mean that you still can't be a boutique operator and execute at a high level and still kick ass because you're not doing it the co-hosting way. You're just doing it a different way, and probably maybe more efficient because, like you said, you're not having a whole bunch of different Google numbers and worried about, whatever the owner sees and kicking them out, whatever, all that stuff, So if anything, to me, it kind of just gets easier.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched what you guys have done, Austin, over at Lazy H, and I like what you guys are doing, right? You guys are very selective on the properties that you take. Like they have to be at a certain level. They've got to be, able to do a certain amount. And those are the only ones that you guys are going to add to your portfolio. And I think we would take that same approach, right? Like like you said, it doesn't change your approach on how you do it or how you operate. It's just, there's certain properties that are going to fit our criteria and certain properties that are not, but we're still going to bust our ass to maximize them, because at the end of the day, it's our company still, and it is our brand and our reputation. And so we still want to be the best out there, whether we're a co-host model or a property management model. We still want to be the best out there. So it doesn't change the perspective. I think it's just helps us from an initial upfront to kind of get more efficiencies and grow into a true legitimate business, I guess, for lack of better words, versus a pseudo type of business, if that makes sense.
I think you get to define your lane, and kind of back to your question earlier, Matt, as a co-host, and what are the tips starting out? As a co-host starting out, you do need to take some things that maybe you don't think maybe are so great, or maybe they're, only going to do 30 or 40 a K a year. You need to get your feet wet and you need to establish yourself. So we've done that. And there are a couple properties that maybe, aren't doing six figures, but I think, long-term, and we've talked about it, not to be like everybody else in the market, but we have a very clear vision for what we want to bring on and bring into our brand, because we have worked really hard to establish our brand. So I think that also kind of parlays itself into transitioning into the property management perspective.
Yeah, no, I love that. I wanted to go back on what you guys said. So like as market experts, I guess it's a two-part question. Let's start with this one. Like what does y'all's buy box look like from a management perspective? Like, you guys have an awesome brand, you have awesome properties. Is it income related? Is it owner related? Is it a combination of the both? What are you guys looking for while you guys stay boutique and looking at these vacation rentals, and you're trying to take on clients? What does your buy box kind of look like?
Go ahead, Phil.
So I would say, as a general rule, we either want beachfront, or we want, within the first block of the beach, private pool, and, have to be able to do a minimum of 125, maybe 150,000 in gross. I think that's where we're at now. Now, we do have some owners that are investors themselves, and, they are bringing on newer properties that may not do that 125, 150, but they're a great client. They are investors themselves, like I said. And so they're bringing on other properties, and they're just handing them to us and saying, hey, you're crushing it for us on this property. Here's another one. And oh, by the way, I've got another one coming up in 6 months that I'm doing a rehab on now. And so naturally we take those because they're a good fit with the owner. So I think it kind of comes down to, what's the property capable of? What's the relationship with the owner? And then, does the owner see and share our vision in terms of being a partner? And there's got to be some investment in these properties, right? Like, we're not just going to take on anything. Like even if it can do 125, 150, well, if it's got a lot of deferred maintenance, you're not taking care of it, and you're not willing to invest in it to bring it up to the standard that we need it to be at, to be a high performing property and something that guests are going to want to come back and experience, then it's not a good fit for us, because it's all about providing a great experience. Our motto is an elevated experience, right? So we want to make sure that we're providing that not only for guests, but for owners too. And we just need to ensure that owners are in alignment with that and view it as a partnership.
And I feel like somehow we have this, we're putting it out there. Our vibe is getting put out there somehow, some way into the universe of attracting some maybe places that are a little unique. I'm not talking like, have the murals on the wall and the extensive game rooms, but we've got some places that are a little unsuspecting, but when you walk into them, guests are like, wow, I am home. This is amazing. From the amenities that we offer to the bedding, we're able to provide that unexpected wow moment. And I also think that's not necessarily a buy box, but that is something I thrive off of. So we've been unique in that, and that maybe it is those beachfront. We do, have taken on some beachfront places, which are great. And also in the first block, but also some unique places that by themselves you wouldn't be really excited about. But once people get in there and the things that we've been able to work with the owners and do, and they have that wow moment and people are just coming back in droves, like that is everything. And I will keep those properties until the owner says, take a hike, I'm tired of you.
Yeah, and those are the kind of properties that, like, maybe they don't have the craziest amenities, and they're not the Instagram worthy ones, but they're just good quality houses, consistently print 5-star reviews, right? 100%. So like there's nothing wrong with that. No. But
and the owner is a great partner. They don't bug us. They don't give us a hard time. They let us do what we do, and they see the money coming in, they see the great reviews coming in, and they just stand back and let us do it. And so it works well from that perspective.
Yeah, I think you use one of my favorite words is partner instead of client, because that's really important, because it's not so transactional. It's like, hey, we maybe want to take on your property, but we want to see it we want to be the best, and we want to see it be at the top of the market. And this is more of a partnership. And you alluded to it really well earlier, Philip, when you were like saying like there's also, we want owners that are open to spending money to get it to where our brand standard is, right? So to talk a little bit more about that, like, is that kind of important to you guys to make sure that they're able to bring the property up to snuff, or are they pushing back and saying, well, we don't want to buy new, this, that, and the other? That's kind of a red flag, right?
Yeah, it's interesting in our market. It's not, we're 30 minutes east of Panama City, and Panama City is very much like in the moment of like the crazy amenities and the neon signs and the crazy wallpaper with the murals and everything else you get when you go west of Panama City, right? Our market is still, you walk into a lot of homes, really nice homes, it's still grandma's beach house. Like there are still 30-inch TVs sitting on the dresser, right? So it's not crazy changes a lot of the times. It's, can we get a 65-inch Roku TV and mount it on the wall, right? Can we get rid of the fish on the wall and put maybe a nice picture or something? So these are the types of things that are actually still doing really well in our market. And it'll range. There have been, some places where it's been, about 4K and some initial upgrades, and we get them making money and they're able to reinvest that money. And then some of them have been a little larger. I think, we've worked with one last year, and they bought a place, and they were actually our guest, and they reached out to me to co-host their house that they bought. So that was really cool. But they spent about $25,000 repainting and redoing everything, and ripped out all the furniture and, put in all new. So it ranges, but I say all that to say our market's still really unique in that we're not at the crazy levels of, glow in the dark putt or the really big movie theaters. Like, people that come to our area are just looking for a really nice, elevated, comfortable stay. So in that aspect, it kind of makes it a little easier on us. And I would say we're probably pushing the limit on some of the things that we do. And we're going to continue to do that, because things are going to continue to move into our market that are going to require us to keep elevating. And we'll have to bring our owners with us on that journey.
Yeah. So if you're selling a house,
Yep.
like do you guys are like, is it a gray area to try and be like, hey, I also do vacation rental management? Is that a conflict of interest? What are the rules? Like, genuinely, like, I don't know. Like, could you just sell them a house and be like, hey, like, I can generate these returns as well in my management business? Or you're not supposed to do that?
There's no set rule or anything like that. I think it just kind of, sometimes it naturally just kind of evolves because they want to know about your investments. And, a smart investor that's buying into a market, especially if they don't know the market, these are some of the questions that they're going to ask their realtor is, are you an investor? How many properties do you own? Do you also manage your properties? And if they're asking these questions, they're getting a good feel for your experience as a realtor. And I think through that experience of knowing what you have from an investment perspective, and then the experience that they have on the buying process, I think naturally sometimes it kind of just comes out like, hey, we've had a great experience. I'm looking at some of your properties, they look beautiful, looking at your reviews, and you've got a 4.99 across 500 reviews. Like, you guys are obviously doing really well. Is it possible for you guys to co-host my property? And so I think, in certain cases it'll make sense, and in other cases it may not. But there's no defined rule or no written rule on you can do it or you can't do it. I think it just needs to be something that works for both parties, and as long as everyone is on the same page and in alignment, I think it's fine to move forward and go ahead and do that. But it's all about setting expectations, right, and making sure that you're in alignment.
Yeah,
that's awesome. One of you guys sell the house and say, "Oh, my wife manages properties." No, just
we actually went through that exercise a couple of weeks ago. Philip's the listing agent on a house, and people keep asking. First, they don't believe the numbers that we put out there that we did on this house. Nobody believes it. They want to see like P&Ls and all the things, which we get. But I mean, even us, like, it exceeded our expectations, but that's just what we do. So I was like, well, just tell him your wife manages it, because he was hawing around it. And I was like, well, just tell him your wife manages it. So, we're not like in your face about it, but I think if it's somebody maybe we're clicking with, and maybe the house makes sense for kind of our collection, and it's an organic conversation, I don't think we'd ever be like, so did you know we also manage properties? We're property managers. You should talk to us. We're the best. Never be something like that.
Yeah, it's not something that we're going to initiate. I think it's got to be organic, and it's got to be something that is initiated by the client, right? And again, it's all about setting expectations and making sure that you're on the same page.
Yeah,
even with the newly found superstardom, huh? I'm sorry, Austin.
It's rough. It's really rough.
It's just I'm surprised he doesn't just slip him a card in his pocket or something. You know?
I got that digital card now, so it's got links to all my social media. So I'm like, just follow me.
That's funny. So when you're out there doing the real estate thing, what are you seeing like in your market? So if somebody's looking to buy in your market, what are you seeing that's working right now from an investment perspective? Like I saw something recently on your social media where you're talking about you had the only house in this neighborhood or whatever that had a cowboy pool and it generated this much. And I think those are the people that are looking for realtors. They're like, hey, this is the value add, because in the Texas Hill Country, I don't think there's, in my opinion, where I'm at specifically, there's nobody that can like talk like I can. I don't do the realtor thing, but I think there's so much value to having a realtor like yourself in your back pocket. But like, what are you seeing that's like working out there? We're like, hey, these houses are doing this. Like, what's, I don't want to say secret sauce, but like what's working from an investor perspective? If somebody's listening to this and they're like, hey, I want to reach out to them and maybe buy a house out there.
So in our market, we're unique a little bit in that a majority of the market is dog friendly. And so we like to say that the sweet spot is if you can find a single family home with a private pool and a fenced in yard and you can be dog friendly, like you are going to do really well. Obviously proximity to the beach is very important as well. But I mean, that's kind of the secret sauce, but not everybody can afford that single family home with a yard and still be close to the beach. Right. So in certain situations, you know, if we can find a good property that maybe it doesn't have a pool now, but it has the yard or the space to be able to add one later. Like that's something that, you know, I'm pushing my clients and saying, hey, you may not have the money to do this now, but maybe in another year after you take advantage of the tax benefits, you get that large tax return back. You can reinvest that into the property, add that private pool, and it's going to do really well for you. But then, you know, other properties, there may not be that opportunity, right? You're in a townhome or you have a little bit smaller of a lot. So how can you get creative with being able to offer some type of water feature, you know, for guests that are coming in? Because, you know, obviously the beach is great, but you can only spend so much time at the beach, especially if you have little kids. So I think being able to come back to the property and have some type of water feature for the family and the kids to utilize is huge. So Kate came up with the cowboy pool.
I was waiting on the plug here because it's me. I am the secret, you guys. If you did not know, it's me.
Dude, if you didn't bring that up, sauce. Man, you're gonna be back on the couch, man. Yeah, if you didn't get her flowers.
Well, the crazy thing is like a lot of times, like I will see that initial vision for the properties, but then on the flip side, sometimes it's Kate, like she sees the vision for the properties, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure that I'm seeing that just yet, you know. So like we definitely complement each other, I think, in different ways and different aspects when it comes to evaluating properties and their potential. But as far as the cowboy pool goes, she did come up with the idea. She had seen it somewhere, and it was one of those things that, you know, we researched our market and said, you know, in the Forgotten Coast, like we don't see a cowboy pool, which is a stock tank pool hooked up with a pool pump. And, you know, there's some people that will talk, you know, negatively about it because they don't understand that it is actually hooked up to a pool pump. It does get professionally maintained, all those good things, you know, that a regular pool does. But it was something that was not in our market. And so there were a couple properties that we were co-hosting and getting ready to co-host that we said, okay, we need a water feature in these properties. We need something to help them stand out, provide a different experience than what they're going to get from other people to help us get those bookings and capture those bookings that we wouldn't normally get. So Kate came up with the cowboy pool. We decided to put one in here at our house as a test. Like, let's try it out. You know, can we install it ourselves? You know, what's it look like? How's the maintenance process? What's the overall experience? So we did it here. Worked out great. My little girls love it. We'd love to get in it as a family and just kind of hang out. And so we rolled them out to a handful of different co-host properties, and we've gotten a ton of great feedback on it. Like people really like it, especially, you know, in certain cases when you can't have that private pool. Like for you to have some type of water feature like that is huge.
I think it's all of that. I think it's also me. But if it's not me, I think in our market, literally it comes down to visually, is the property beautiful? There is one owner we have that redoes all these homes, and I don't have to question a thing that she does because they are beautiful from the finishes to the design. Like, she does an immaculate job, and I know that's going to be ready. I just need to get photos on it and we are ready to go. So her properties do really well. She's not offering video games or murals or anything crazy, right? She did put a cowboy pool in, and it's done really well. She's putting a pool in. It's also kind of on the water feature thing, having the ability to have a water feature. But quite honestly, guys, if you just have a home that is well thought out, that does not look like grandma's beach house, and that you're able to get really good photos on, that you come through your listing as somebody that's involved and caring, not a property manager. I'm sorry, guys.
In our market,
property managers are not it. It's co-host or owner managing listings that are doing the best, because they come across as caring, and that comes across in their reviews. So we get the biggest compliments on, yes, we have pools, but our kitchens are stocked to the hills. So other little things like that people overlook, like our kitchens stock the shit out of that, and you guys are going to market that, and you're going to have a great place to go. So you don't have to do anything big and fancy, I think is what I'm trying to articulate. You don't have to go balls to the wall crazy with design or games or any of that. People oftentimes don't have that budget, but just make it visually appealing. Add a water feature when and where you can. And then keep in mind when you're buying, how do people get to the beach? Am I attracting families with little kids? They may not want to cross the busy road without a golf cart, or they may need an extra kind of wagon to get their babies across to, the beach. So keep those things in mind, and you will do amazing. And me.
I think when you touches too, like Kate's very good about the little touches that, a lot of people don't think about. So like in our beach houses, we have, very nice, like hand lotion, stuff like that. But we also have aloe, right? You're at the beach. Like, how many times you show up at the beach and you forget the aloe? Well, it's right there ready to go for you. Or, with us being dog friendly, like we have the dog bowls, but we also have our cleaner leave out a little dog toy, for
every dog, a new dog toy.
And the crazy thing is we get the most feedback about the little, $5 dog toy. Like, we get pictures of the dog loves it. And, the guests are raving about it. Like, they love those little touches. So it doesn't have to be something immaculate or super expensive. But I think when you can take the time to think about those little extras or those little touches that nobody else does, those are the things that really help set you apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I leave tennis balls and dog treats and frisbee.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
So, but I mean, you gotta like dogs, I guess, to do it. But
that's right. That's right.
And I do want to commend you, Phillip, on saving it, because when you first started with the pool thing, like Kate was looking at you like, "Oh yeah, you're in trouble again," and then you like wrapped full circle and was like, "Oh yeah, well it's like a partnership." And then I could see her think like, "Okay, I'm feeling this a little bit," and then you just kept kissing ass a little bit more. So you saved yourself. You saved yourself pretty good. So
Matt, what he didn't tell you is every time I'm like, "Oh, he questions like, are you sure?" I don't know about that. Like it's a ton. It's like a whole thing to get through the gate here, and at the end of the day, he's like, oh, like with wallpaper, when we did a wallpaper wall, he's like, I don't know. Now he wants to wallpaper every wall in the house. So, I mean, it's like 0 to 100 with him.
You and my wife would get along well.
But all these questions and everything that I throw out to her, I think make her better, because she's got to think through it that much more.
Oh my God.
It's just a way that we complement each other. It works.
You guys, I love this episode, and we have to do this again. It was really fun. We didn't complete our goal. Phillip didn't get punched today, so maybe next time. But
I'm not a physical violence person.
The throat punch will probably come after we stop the recording.
Yeah,
dude, she's kicking you under the chair. Don't lie. I know what you're doing. Yeah, because I get this a lot. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, dude, appreciate you guys coming on. Tell everybody like where they can find you, follow you. Anything else you want to plug out there? Yeah, just let us know.
So let me go first before my husband and his big social media head get after this. But you can find us. We are Unico Properties, and our website is www.unicosoulproperties.com. You can follow my social media star of a husband at, what's your handle?
Rinse and Repeat, and that's Rinse RENTS.
Oh, Rinse. Okay.
Rinse. Exactly. And then obviously Savvy.Realty, if you're looking for an investor agent that knows the Florida Panhandle, specifically the Forgotten Coast, the Destin Miramar Beach area, investors themselves, manage themselves, know what guests are looking for,
Come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us.
You guys included.
Ask us all the questions. We were W-2 employees. We've gone through the tax benefits, all the different things. Like we've gone through it many different times, and love to help guide investors through the process and answer any questions they have.
Awesome. I love it. So one more plug I want to put here is like, I think Phillip, your content is really good and I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you, but I've got to admit the best content that you guys put out is whenever Kate is yelling at those bears. Like, if you guys don't know, there's been a few videos going around and Kate posts them and she, they're bears at like your Smoky Mountain cabin. Yep. And like they get up on the front door and they're about to push and then she just total mom screams at them and they don't want anything to do with it. They're out of there. And those are my favorite videos. So check those out.
I need some new content, Austin. So we're going to have to invite those bears back with something. It's been a while.
I think she's permanently scared them off. They're like, we don't want none of her. Like we're staying away.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, anyways. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap with that. And I appreciate y'all coming on and thank y'all for listening.
No.
Yeah. Thanks guys.
Thanks everybody.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Bye, guys.